Hello and welcome to Fibertown. This is episode 90. It's 11/28/2014. My name is Emily, Chain of Fools on Ravelry, and Fibertown with an RE on Instagram, and on the blog at blogspot.com, fibertown.blogspot.com, and where else? iTunes, YouTube, and on the Ravelry group, Fibertown Podcast. This is Alice. And yeah, that's her name. And she's going to join us today because I have a cookie over here. And I'm going to dole it out bit by bit. So hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm here in my living room again because I recorded yesterday. It did not work. My ancient Mac laptop is really cranky, so I have our desktop that I have brought in here. And fingers crossed that I am able to record, and it's not going to be a giant file size because this is a much better computer. And anyway, cross your fingers for me and the technology. So if you're seeing this, all went well. Anyway, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving if you are in the States. I want to say welcome to two folks who introduced themselves on the welcome thread. We have KPMCQS, who is Carrie. She's from Hyde Park, New York. And that's really near Rhinebeck. How lucky are you, Carrie? And she was just saying that she's lamenting not knitting things that do not fit also. And I've had a rash of that lately. So welcome. And then we have Mrs. Neely Johns, who is Rachel from Tawnytown, Maryland. So she's kind of sort of local. And she's been a long-time crocheter, I believe, and is just beginning her knitting career. So thanks for saying hi, and thank you all for being here. Alice and I really, we enjoy recording, and Alice lost an ear just then. Let me see. Look over here. What happened to your ear? So, Season of S, one more week. Next time I record, it'll be December, and we will do prize drawings. So enter on Instagram, because I'll draw from both Instagram and the Ravelry group thread. The hashtag on Instagram is FTSOS, so everything that is scrappy, put it in there. All right, we have two giveaways, and I've already drawn. It was yesterday that I recorded. And let's see. We have, I can't see what's happening here, Alice. Yeah, I know. All right, hang on. Before I tell you who won, we're going to have to do a little cookie giveaway for Alice. Sit down. Sit down. Can you shake? You're a good girl. Okay, the lucky person randomly picked. Oh, okay, you got to back off now. Here it is. Randomly picked to win the Wandering Wool. This is mine. Mine. North Country sock in this amazing rainbow gradient. Again, Wandering Wool. So the person who won this was number... I was really organized yesterday, I swear. And plus I didn't have a dog on me like this. Where did I put my show notes? Oh, they're in front of me. Turkey makes me stupid. Okay, so the person who won the rainbow yarn from Joelle of Wandering Wool is number 17, who is Heather01851. Congratulations, big time. I will tell Joelle you're the winner. And then once you see this, let me know, and we'll get that in motion. She will send it right to you. So let's see, who won the Tribbles? This cookie thing was a really bad idea. I'm getting, okay, off of my yarn. The amazing Hedwig Tribbles, which are sparkly and lovely. As well as the Horcruxes and Hollows Wraps per Inch Gauge from Flash Dance Designs was... You're distracting me, Alice. Okay, that was Medras, who is Vivian from Seattle. That was number 18. Congratulations to you, Vivian. So get in touch with me. I will send this out to you. Okay. Guess what, y'all? I'm having a sale of all of my patterns from today until January 6th, which is the 12th day of Christmas. And everything is 25% off. So if you want to gift some Ravelry friends some patterns or get yourself something you've had your eye on, now's a good time to do it. And it's going to be a long, long sale. So all of the holidays, 25% off. So check it out. It's Fibertown Designs on Ravelry. Okay, I have FOs, I have whips, I have so much spinning. You need to chill. Stay. I have so much spinning, I haven't asked Fibertown. And I'm going to have to give the rest of the cookie, so you will leave me alone. So I cannot podcast like this. Give me another shake. Let's let the people see your cookie face. All right, sweetheart. Now leave me alone. I am all fuzzy. Hello, camera. Focus. Okay. I have a barn raising square finished. I keep them in this lovely little dish. This is the 6th one I've made. And this is out of some scraps from Swensty, Sarah, my friend in Maine. And this is Mad Tush sock, and it's this gorgeous like sand and sea kind of colorway. Really beautiful. So, parade of barn raising squares. Ooh, Nyan cat. Bazinga, lollipop. I made some fingerless gloves out of this too. Some Gourmet Stash handspun, and the Van Gogh's paint box handspun poonies. I would have a very colorful quilt. This one was the most sedate so far, for sure. So that's an FO this week. I fixed my worsted boxy cardigan, pullover. And I had mentioned last week that I had picked up stitches and cut the hem off. And I reknit about 2.5 inches plus ribbing. So it is not a showpiece still, but it is functional and I like wearing it around the house. So finally that Malabrigo Rios in Paris Night is going to stay put in a sweater, and it is showing some wear already. So, but anyway, I'm glad that's done. That's off of my plate, and yeah. So the next thing is not technically an FO, but it's scrappy, and it has mini FOs in it. It's my sock yarn blanket. I was so sick last weekend, and I set myself up with my giant basket of scraps and my Rhinebeck bag with my sock yarn blanket in it. And I knit 6 or 7 squares. So let me show you what I have. Let me see. Let's see. I knit a bunch of them from Memers. Amy of the Hudson Valley Knits podcast, the scrap she sent me. This one I think was a little prince, one of those opal little prince yarns. This was Lollipop. That was from Amy again, and this one was, what was this one? This was Noro Curry-on sock, just a bit of the turquoise that I had left over. This was from Amy, and this was one square of the poonies that she spun and sent me, and I have enough for another square. And then this is some hand spun. I've started another square out of some hand spun. So this is lovely, so much fun to work on. So 6 or 7 squares in a day is very doable. I think it's almost time for me to do another gigantic square, maybe out of some stripy yarn. So those are some mini FOs, and that brings us to works in progress. I'm sorry, can you hear the coughing child? We've all been plagued lately. Okay, yeah, I love your kisses, but you need to chill out. Go lay down. So I cast on a sweater. This is one that has been on my radar for a long time. It's the Party Mix from Knitty, Julia Farwell Clay. Wait. Let me say that again. It's from Knitty. No, Knitty? She was all into the word knitty. All right, so anyway. Knitty. The Party Mix is a sweater in 6 pieces. So it has a front panel, a back panel, 2 sleeves, and 2 triangular panels on either side. And it is designed to use coordinating hand spun. So most likely your taste in color when you pick fiber, 4-ounce bumps of fiber it's probably kind of cohesive. For me, I have a lot of purplish bumps, purplish hand spun. And this is made to maybe use the front panel as a prized hand spun, and you could do the sleeves out of commercial yarn. And I'm gonna have to put this dog. This dog is not usually this annoying. It's that little tail. So purple hand spun with commercial yarns, or you can do the whole thing out of hand spun. And it's done in pieces, so conceivably you could mix and match. So this is a project I started before, and for whatever reason it just didn't happen. So I've picked it up again, and I've knit a bunch. It's going very fast. This is a front panel out of some Julie Spins BFL silk. So this gorgeous purples with some golds in there as well. And I'm knitting from both, from the center and from the outside of the ball. I decided to do a little striping. I'm still not convinced it was the right call, but most of this goldy, bronzy color was at the end, so it was going to be up around my face, and I was like, it's going to look weird if it's all purple and then bronze. So it's a long, like A-line tunic, which is very flattering. Plus it has side panels. So I think I'm just going to keep striping, more or less. So fun to knit. So fun. And it's fast. I'm knitting this on size, these are my some Chow-Goos. Chow-Goo red lace, size 9. I love Chow-Goo red lace. So, I don't know what the sleeves will be, but this is some hand-dyed of mine, which I thought kind of coordinated with this. And I have lots of this, so I could do the sleeves. So yeah. I'm sorry, I'm so distracted today. My uncle is outside shoveling dirt. Long story, extended family shenanigans. Okay, other works in progress. My fingerless gloves. Could you go lay down? Go lay down. Go lay down. I worked a bit on these as well this week. This is my first one. And these are great with my worsted boxy because unfortunately the sleeves are right about elbow length, and it's cold this time of year. So this is, okay, so the hero sleeves aren't going to come up too far, but these are great for just, you can pull them down, have them cozy over your fingers. They're very functional, and they have like very minimal shaping around here. I just decreased a stitch or two. This is cast on with 64 stitches, and it's Noro. The colorful stripes are Noro, and the black, gray, and white are Zauberball. It's a single. So much fun. And here's the second. These are being knit on Carbons, double points. It's different from the first one. So I'm about 2/3 done with this. Now, silly me, I forgot to do some jogless joins right there, and I've got some jogs, but that will just be the inside. See, here are I did a lot of jogless joins on this one, and you can't see them at all. But I'll just know that on this one, this is the part that should face inward. I'd like to get this done, and I'd like to be wearing them a lot soon. Another work in progress is my punk rock sock, and this is actually, I don't think this has changed at all since I showed you last week. I finished the heel flap and turned the heel. Yeah, I remember showing this. It's Gourmet Stash, her stout sock in Corriedale nylon, and punk rock, the colorway. She is having, oh, I should have said, both she and Wandering Wool are having sales going on, so check them out. And I actually have to make sure that I stop and hit Kate's update at 12. It's now 11:39. Okay, because there's something on that update that I want. Okay, what else? That's it for works in progress. Can you believe it, Alice? That's it. Spinning. I've been having my own private Spinzilla this week. I have been spinning like a madwoman. I need to give my wheel a break and maybe clean it off, because now that the Jacob fleece is done, the Jacob there's a lot of dust and veg matter on my wheel. So here is my basket of Jacob. I don't know what this will be knit into, perhaps a monomania, perhaps a Stella Luna. That would be a massive shawl. I know I estimated it was going to be about 2,500 yards. No, it's about 1,400 yards. Seriously, Alice. No more cookies. They're all gone. So it's just lovely. Where's that last big? This was a massive skein that I finished this week. It's about a 5-ounce skein. The brown, as I said, was more full of veg matter than the rest. I really love the mixed. And then the white is lovely as well. And this was all drum carded and then dizzed off of the drum carder, which is really kind of a labor intensive thing to do. It's physically hard work as well. You wouldn't think so, but it is. So 1,400 yards of Jacob. So that's a fleece from start to finish. Can I just get a round of applause? And I wanted to show you my little system for record keeping on fleeces. This, I put all of my receipts from a festival into the brochure, the catalog. And so I have the stats on this fleece. Here it is, because I don't remember how much it weighed to begin with and all that good stuff. So here it is. It's a Jacob. The sheep was Meredy. Oh, there's the shepherd from New Jersey. Let's see. It was not coated. It was 2.5 pounds, and it cost me $37.50. So, started out with 2.5 pounds. How much did I end up with? Really cool to know. 24 ounces of spun yarn. I wrote that on the back. A little over 60% total. So I netted a little bit more than 60%. I think it was 63 or 64% of that 2.5 pounds. And hopefully my math is not shoddy. It was about that much. And that's pretty surprising that, I didn't feel like I got rid of a lot of, like there were bad cuts in this fleece or, it was felted too badly. But that lanolin weighs a significant amount. So $37.50 is not bad for all the enjoyment I got out of the processing. Plus it's enough for a sweater. So yeah. Now, my other fleece, I did do a little other fleece processing this week. This is, just in here, I bought this fleece as well. This is yogurt, and you can see it's like lanolin stained around here. It was in with the fleece. Isn't this a darling, darling little creature? Romney Border Leicester Corriedale mix. Ooh, a lot bigger. And yeah, it was coated. So that's why it was $80.50. It also won a yellow ribbon. So it was more expensive. And it's a beautiful, beautiful fleece. It is washed. And let me just grab a bit of the lovely, I don't know if you can see, it's washed out by the light. That's really not the greatest example of a lock, but there's a hunk of it. I have been experimenting with prepping this one. And it's a longer staple length. It's about a 5-inch staple length, 4 to 5 inches. Been combing with my evil Valkyrie combs, which are so much fun. And I have, here it is. This is just very white fleece. There's a little nest of combed top. It's gorgeous, and there's very little, well, there is some waste actually. There's a fair amount on the floor over there. So I just kind of sit here and watch Netflix and comb. So I have a basket. It's going to take a long time, this one. It's a big fleece. You all saw how long the Jacob took me, and that was less than half of the size of this fleece. But I don't want this in my drum carder. I think it's too long, probably. I don't know. I need to experiment. Now my other fleece is from Shenandoah. I don't have the stats on it, but it was a lamb's fleece, and it was a Coopsworth Cotswold cross. And it comes in this little crinkly fi form. I wish. Now this one is super time consuming to process. And, hang on a sec. There we go. And I have all of this. So I have been flicking these little locks open, these little crinkly fries, and been trying a couple of different things. I tried combing. This is 2 locks combed. Okay, that's not happening. That's super labor intensive. I think the best way for this one is probably going to be flicked, drum carded. These are just flicked open locks. Flicked, drum carded, and then maybe dizzed. This was just a bat that I made out of it. So very slow going on this one as well. Oh, there's a little sample of the yarn though. And I think it's going to be I'm going to do a 2-ply out of this and make some sort of big lace project. I have no idea what the Jacob what Yogurt's fleece will become, and I have no idea if I should. It's still got a bit of lanolin in it. I didn't get it all out. And that's okay. It's not greasy to the touch, but I'm wondering if I should dye it in the wool. But that's going to limit me. I don't know. If I dye the whole thing one color, I'm stuck with that color. And that happened to me with the Finn fleece. Granted, it's more interesting to spin. I need to think about where in the process I want to dye this. We'll see. So my other fleece is the new one from Rhinebeck. And that is, let me find the little sample I did. Here it is. The Rambouillet Corriedale cross. And I made a sample skein. It's about 5 ounces of gorgeous chocolatey brown. Like it, Al? I discovered I do not want to spin Rolags from this. They take a lot of twists to get them to hold together, and I just didn't enjoy it. I did enjoy the combing, spinning the combed top. So I need to knit on this. It's really nice. It's really nice, isn't it, Alice? It might be a good idea to drum card and diz roving for this. I need to try that too. That's seeming to be working very well for me. I found out that worked well with my Jacob, and it's labor intensive, but I really like spinning with that kind of roving. So that is it for uncolorful wool. She has never been this in my face when I've been podcasting. She's a little lovey. Come here. Now let me show you all of the color. Where shall I start, Alice? Okay. Actually, let's do some more that's not so colorful, but it is so beautiful and sparkly. So, the Gourmet Stash, Hollows and Horcruxes Unclub. Let's show you what we have. All together, this is about, I forgot to write down the yardage. It's enough for an MPG, multi-purpose garment. So the first colorway is Ravenclaw's Diadem. Okay, you're going to have to just get your nose out of my yarn. Ravenclaw's Diadem. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. You can't see the teal that's in here, but it's really beautiful. So that was 19 yards. Then we have Tom Riddle's Diary. And I geeked out a whole bunch about Harry Potter last week. You've probably seen some of these. This one I love this one. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And we have, oh my gosh, something in the yarn smells wonderful. Harry Potter, The Final Battle, 15 yards. This is the one with the two different colors of Angelina, red and green. See, oh, look at that. It's like dueling wands. Then we have Slytherin's Locket, 21 yards. Oh, I love this one. This is one of my favorites. Kate does a mean green. Then there is Nagini, which is more of an olivey green. And then we have a mix of Hufflepuff's Cup and Marvellow's Ring. And this is a 43-yard skein. And they coordinated really beautifully, so I mixed them. I did a 2-ply of them. Then we have the Hollows, the Cloak of Invisibility, which you all have seen. Let's see if the sparkle is captured at all. It's so subtle. It's a rainbow Angelina, and really can't see it very well. That was 65 yards. Then we have the Resurrection Stone, 63 yards. And this is subtle and beautiful. Really gorgeous. And the final one is the Elder Wand. We actually have a replica of the Elder Wand. We have 3 or 4 Harry Potter wands. We use 1 or 2 tend to come into the house at Christmas time. Every year we get a new one. So beautiful, beautiful, and very fun. And I'm going to stripe them all into a wonderful MPG cowl, capelet. Alrighty. I also finished my yak silk. I had already spun the sewing, and I finished my water weed. This one is half spindle spun on my supported Russian, and the other half was spun on my wheel. I have 200 yards for each color, and these are going to be knit together into something stunning. I love purple and green together. This is an amazing, amazing, luxurious blend. All right, more Gourmet Stash. Where is the card for this one? Broken Ornaments. And I'm getting nervous because it's 7 minutes to 12 and I have to stock an update. Broken Ornaments, Stellar Top. This is one of Kate's holiday colorways. And I picked this up at the Knot House. And yes, it is truly that beautiful. Look at that, it's a 2-ply. Oh my gosh, this would make a great front to another party mix. Tell you that party mix thing is genius. So just so much fun to spin. Quick and dirty 2-ply, 230 yards. Love it. And Alice is now, I don't have any other food. I don't know what's going on. You're showing us your butt. We don't really appreciate that. Then, because I hadn't spun enough, I took my last loop bump, Potpourri, 250 yards, and I spun it and I plied it chain ply. It's not washed yet, so it's very curly. These aren't my typical colors, but aren't they gorgeous? Potpourri, it's merino, only merino, and I was thinking that I would knit this into Sarah Pomegranate's design, Another Door Opens. I don't think I have enough yardage, and that's because I spin the way I spin, and it's just who I am. You know, it's a fatter yarn than what she calls for, so maybe it would work. Might be worth a try. So really gorgeous. Let me see if I can open this up and show you more of the color. I just like floofier yarns. I don't like dense yarns. I don't like knitting with them, and I don't like spinning worsted. But the result is I don't always get enough yardage out of bumps. All right, you want to come out of there? Put the yarn over there. Don't step on it. That is strangely all that I have spun. Can you believe it? Okay. Should we talk about Ask Fibertown? All right, I'm back. All right, we were doing an Ask Fibertown, and this is from the Frosted Cow. And she says, my husband and I are anxious to get our feet wet with international travel, and I have really enjoyed your podcast episodes and comments on your travels to Spain. Thank you. Have you been anywhere else in Europe? If so, where would you encourage us to go? Or would you like to sell us on Spain? We aren't interested in touristy places. We want to see the people and the culture. I, of course, love fiber and such. Of course. Any more comments or recommendations? Come on, Ma. Come on. So, yes, let me see. Oh, great. Can you hear my husband drumming? Okay, I'm going to ignore. This has been the podcast of distractions, and you don't help. Okay, so yes, let me see. I have been other places in Europe, and in fact, I first went to Europe when I was 16, and I went by myself. I traveled by myself. I was met by friends. And I went to England, and I went to France. And I have since lived in France. I've been a few other places, not tons of places in Europe. I've spent a lot of time in Spain. I'm married to a Spaniard. And I've come to love Spain more as I've gotten older. It was never a place I wanted to go to. I was a Francophile. And I've since really come to appreciate Spain because it's a place where, as opposed to a lot of places in France where you have a way to do things, this is the way it is done. As I've gotten older, I have rebelled quite a bit against that. And in Spain, there's this sort of sense to me of do what makes you happy. That's kind of the philosophy of living. For better or for worse, do what makes you happy. And I really have embraced that. So, Spain is a varied place. It is one of the not so expensive. A lot of places in Spain are not as expensive as Northern Europe. And it's a place with more than one language. It's not all Castilian Spanish. And very, as you saw in the podcast, incredibly different landscapes and climates. And just there's a lot of Spain that I've yet to discover. And we are most likely going back next summer. And I do know that there is a town, someone in a previous thread mentioned a town where it's very wool focused in Spain, in northern Spain. And I need to do some more research and hopefully go there next summer. I also love Italy. I could be packed in a half an hour and ready to go if you were going to send me to Italy. I appreciate the not wanting to go to the super touristy places. And there are ways to travel depending on who you are and how old you are and what you're comfortable with. I highly recommend staying away from, don't focus your trips around big cities because you're going to be less connected to people and places. And that's kind of the nature of big cities. But you're going to be more targeted more as a tourist and less able to find more authentic experiences. So when I was living in France, for example, I had run out of money and I didn't want to go home. It was summer and I applied to different programs of archaeology. And these are usually run by grad students, different universities. And I ended up going to one north of Paris, near Soissons. And I was part of a team that excavated an Iron Age burial ground, which is not an experience you can ever have here because of tribal laws, for example, prehistoric and other graves are not touchable. However, in Europe, there's layers and layers and layers of history like this, and not enough people to deal with excavation and conservation of remains because there are so many sites, and a lot of these sites are being developed into other things. So, for example, the site I worked on was going to become a gravel pit. The owners, wanted to get rid of this burial site so they could use the land for their purposes. The laws are different. So, I worked on a palisade area, but I also worked on the grave of a young girl, and she was buried with her. She still had some baby teeth. She was probably 10 or 11 years old. She was buried with her torque, which is her heavy burial necklace, iron burial necklace, as well as a bracelet, beautifully made. Her amber beads, her shells, her fetal pig that was her meal on her journey to the other world. And this was a matriarchal Celtic society in northern France. And the main burial was that of a warrior princess or queen. She was over 6 feet tall, and she was buried with her chariot, and the iron wheel rims remained. And this was 400 before Common Era. So amazing. And the reason I did this, number one, is because I didn't have any money. They housed me, they fed me, and I did hard physical labor. But it was full of people from all different countries, young people mostly, Italy, Germany, England, and it was an experience like no other. Granted, I lived in a barn loft and slept on a mattress with like 10 other people and showered at the local gym. And but we had excellent food cooked by a woman in the village, and we would eat and drink and dance every night, and it was awesome fun. Now, in my research for this, I found also you can do castle restoration, this kind of volunteering in old castles. So check that out. Google that kind of stuff if you want to do things cheaply. That's an amazing way to do it. And I would also say you should look into the fiber community. In fact, this is what I would like you guys to do. I would like you to tell us of international podcasts that you know of, and there are quite a few good ones that I watch. I just recently watched FO and Die. They're in the UK, and that was fun. And let's see, there's Little Yellow Uke and the Geeky Girls, who are in Edinburgh, Scotland. And Lindsay in Denmark used to have a podcast. I don't know if she still is. Podcasting. Who else? Oh, there's a Spanish one in Spanish. The other ones I mentioned are all in... No, Lindsay was not in English, but I watched her anyway. Feminine House Hobbies. Feminine is spelled Femenine. That's a Spanish language one, and she's in northern Spain. And I'm sure that, you can meet people through fiber podcasting, and, I don't know, meet up and have a coffee when you're in their neck of the woods. And go to the yarn stores that they recommend and that sort of thing. I would love to go to Scotland. Whiskey and wool sounds like my dream vacation. Alice couldn't come, though. You want to go to Scotland, Alice? Do you want to go anywhere? Nope, just stay here and go walkies, eh? So, I don't know. What are you interested in? Read up about it. Go to your library. Get books. A lot of different ways you can do this kind of thing. And, having lived and stayed in a couple of small towns in Europe, you're going to meet people if you do it that way. So I'm not saying don't go to big cities, but there's a lot to be said for other places if you want to be off the beaten path. So chime in on the thread. Let us know what you think. Let us know your ideas. Let us know your other international podcasts, because I'd like to add some to my list as well. So, all right, you guys. Y'all take care till next week. Bye-bye.